up in the morning, along with coffee, toast, and cake. If you're like the old Stone Roadie, you like to wake and bake. Now let's join Craig, Reed, and Griff Martin as we head out on the road. So sit right back and buckle right in. It's the Wake and Bake Morning Show.
Rise and shine, everybody. It's time to Wake and Bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
The STONED Roadie Show, podcast 321. Wake and Bake the Morning Buzz, and it's Monday, August 11th, 2025. My name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the STONED Roadie, and I got good genes. And this is my co-host, co-pilot, and the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. So what the heck are we going to talk about there today there, Griff Martin?
Oh, something kind of funny. I gave away those stickers on the last podcast, and I think there was 5 people that I gave them to, and I got 18 emails that said, "Yeah, hey Griff, I need my stickers."
You got my message from Angela Lynyrd, didn't you? I sent you her address. She couldn't, for some reason, she couldn't send it, so I sent her address to you.
I think I sent her some stickers. Everybody should have gotten them by now. Let me know, Angela, if you didn't get them. But yeah, I didn't know who was who, so I went ahead and just sent everybody stickers. I can't do that all the time, you know. That costs a lot of money, those stamps. But that's okay. But we appreciate our listeners. I mean, and there's people patiently waiting on Craig to send your stuff. And speaking of which, Jim Dolan sent me some pictures of his brother picking up his stuff from Craig, and I'll put these up here right now so you guys can see those out there in Craig's little his little barn out there where he's got all of his memorabilia stuff and where he's doing his packages to mail out. Where are you getting? Are you getting any better ahead there, Craig? Are you doing any better? Are you?
Not much. I got tied up last week. I got a bunch of stuff, ready. I got our disciple Dave. I promised I'd send him his stuff out. Yeah, I'm still getting his things together and trying to figure out where to sign his stuff. He's got some nice stuff he wanted me to sign. I want to do it right.
Yeah, I thought you already sent his stuff.
No, I've been. He sent me some nice stuff. I'm trying to figure out where the proper places to sign it are. He sent me some big things. He sent me stuff. He sent me a bunch of stuff that are like 14 by 18. They're big things, big nice things.
Well, if anybody,
he sent me he sent me an envelope with the return postage and everything. And already, all I have to do is sign it and put it all in there.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody who doesn't deserve it more. It's Dave. He did a lot of stuff for us, a lot of stuff. So, yeah.
And Jesus for Survivors, I'm going to send him some stuff to do, some stuff too. He really wasn't a prize winner, but I'm going to send him some stuff.
Yeah, he's another guy. We got a lot of great contributors, and of course, here recently, Robert Wheatley just won the auction, and then of course Paul Connolly is donating a percentage of his auction to the podcast. Those guys are great contributors, and so anybody, and I heard Gene, I talked to Gene the other day, and I don't know who it was, but he got home from the monument where he went out there and sold some books and some shirts. And then he was thinking, I wish I could have done better. And then he walked in the door and opened the mail and there was a $500 check in there from somebody. I don't know who it was, if it's anybody that is one of the contributors of our show. Yeah, we appreciate, when you guys take care of the plane crash survivors like that. Because Gene, man, he's just a gallon away from running out of gas every time you turn around, and his car is always broken. And so he gets by. He's been getting by for years. But one thing about Gene, if you give him anything, he'll give it away. He gives expensive stuff away. He just gives it away to like his grandkids or his nieces or nephews, or he's just he the only thing I've seen that he hasn't given away is my painting that I painted of that Hell House painting. He says that he's not going to give that away. But so we appreciate the contributors. And Jesus for Survivors, I talk to him every now and then. I think he was on vacation last time I talked to him, so he was having a little break there, and he was really enjoying his vacation. But
he's got a pretty good sized farm. I saw some pictures of him. He rolls up great big 2,000-pound rolls of hay and sells them, I guess.
Yeah, and he wanted me to ask you, Craig, how that pond, that little pond that he dug out's doing.
Oh, it's good. It fills up nice when it rains.
He cleaned out all that silt.
It hasn't rained, right? So it's kind of isn't really a pond. It kind of dries out because when there's no rain, but it rains. It holds it nice.
Yeah, so he just said, "Hey, ask Craig how's his little pond doing down there."
Yeah, it's doing great.
So I forgot to ask you. That was probably 2 weeks ago. He asked me to ask you. So there you go, Jesus for Survivors. And then a lot of people asking about Kimmy, because we haven't heard from Kimmy. Now, I think Kimmy told me she was getting some surgery for something. I could be wrong about that, but everybody say a prayer for Kimmy, who usually comments at least 50 or 60 comments per podcast. And we're thinking about you, Kimmy. She's one crazy Kimmy, we call her. She's a really nice girl. And we all love Kimmy. A lot of people want to know where you're at, Kimmy, how you're doing, and if you get a chance, and you can say something in the comments. I'm sure you can probably get one in there, maybe, to let us know how you're doing, because we're worried about you. Another thing too is I told Craig this. I've been talking to that guy on Vice Grip Garage through email. And he's showed an interest in Alan Collins. He's one of these guys, will it run? He goes out and he takes some tools with him, and he finds a car, and it hasn't ran in 25, 30 years. Real cool guy. Funny guy, pretty funny guy. And he gets them running, and then he drives them back. I guess he buys them, but he did show interest in fixing Alan Collins' car, but he don't answer my emails, man. I'm trying to get him. He's busy. Every time he says, "Man, I'm under a car right now with my camera." So if I can't get him, I'm going to see if he knows somebody else that we can get, because I would love to piggyback off of their Will It Run YouTube channel and pick up some of their subscribers. And they've got some of those guys, they've got million subscribers, because people love to watch those Will It Run. One of my favorites is that No Nonsense Garage. That guy, man, he is one hell of a mechanic. That guy, he's he's a fantastic. So if you guys get a chance to watch No Nonsense Garage, he's a really good guy. I mean, he can work on anything, and he's a young dude, and I think he works at like Tires Plus or something. I'm like, that guy ought to own his own freaking garage, you know. Works on boats, motorcycles, heavy equipment, you know, bulldozers, anything has got an engine. This guy, man, he is one hell of a mechanic, and I just like to sit there and watch. Then another thing, old Paul Abraham, I hear he's not doing very well. You know, he's got stage 4 cancer, and I hear maybe they've stopped the treatment. Paul, if you're listening, man, we love you, and we hope that you're not in any pain. And you know, cancer sucks, man. Lost several family members to it, and you know, it's just a horrible thing. So you guys say prayers for Paul Abraham, that, you know, that he's comfortable, and you know, maybe you know, somebody can talk to him and get some word back, see how he's doing. Hopefully he's not that bad.
Did you say Lori Shoemaker talked to her? Talk to him?
Yeah, I think Lori, you know, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Lori Shoemaker, she's I think been in contact with him, and she, you know, she didn't say a whole lot. She just said that she thinks he's not doing very well. So, so prayers for Paul Abraham. And other than that, you know, we got plenty of, you know, that clickbait thing worked pretty good, Craig, where you put up, you know, Barry Lee Harwood and
well,
and,
you told me. You told me at the end of the podcast, you said, well, I put up that thing with Barry Harwood and Derek Hess and Six Gun, so I just put, you know, Craig Reed and with Griff Martin and Barry Lee Harwood and Derek Hess and Six Gun. Yeah. And and I talked to Kathy Gotti, and she goes, why did you put that on there? I said, there at the end. She goes, oh, I didn't watch it all the way to the end.
Yeah, it was kind of a trick. Yeah, there's some people, they didn't watch the podcast all the way to the end, you know, and that's where you got to see Barry Lee, you know, and Derek Hess and Six Gun and Seda singing. You know, I videotaped that, and it was amazing for me because these guys, you know, Derek Hess and Barry Lee were in Rossington Collins, and Barry was singing, and I got that whole thing on video, and I was there, and it was like made your skin, you know, get chills. It was so good, man. I thought it was amazing to be there and be able, and then I got to go to the studio and see Derek and Barry Lee, you know, how they do things in the studio, and it was just awesome. I just wish Six Gun would have done something with those guys, you know. They just kind of, I'll be honest with you, it pissed me off that they did not do something with those guys. And those guys were willing to do something with them. They wanted to do things. They wanted to, you know, they probably would have gone on a tour. And, you know, back then I was, you know, making some smart ass comments about Six Gun because I was pretty pissed off about that. And, but you never know why people don't do things, you know. Maybe they just didn't want to be involved with it for whatever reason, you know. But the problem was a lot of people worked their asses off to make that happen. One of them was Chad Reed, Craig's son, and Craig and myself, and you know, there's a lot of people that did a lot of things, but we had a good time, and we love Six Gun, you know, we love those guys, and we wish them the best. We don't hear much from them anymore. And we've got some other guys that I'm working with to try to get on the podcast. We still got Lee coming up, you know, and a couple other people that I'm working with.
Mike Owings.
Yeah, you know, we still got to do the Steve Reynolds thing, and then there's a guy that wants to come on the podcast, and I'll just surprise you with him. It's a guy that Chad hooked me up with. I got to call his manager. He's a local Jacksonville talent, and I'm not going to mention his name until I find out for sure that he can come on. But I need to talk to his manager. But he wants to come on, so he's a local guy in Jacksonville who's got all original stuff. Really good singer, good guitar player. And, we like to have people on, help them out, We like to have different bands on, tribute bands, Skynyrd tribute bands, anybody up and coming that is an artist trying to break out, we'll help you out, man. We don't mind. And if we get some crappy comments, then I'll address those as they come. Like that one guy that we had, I go ahead and read his comment. Rick Walker, I called him a jackass. Remember that, Craig? I said,
yeah,
Rick Walker, man, you just a jackass. Well, I told him at the end, I said, hey, man, if you change your tune and if you apologize, I'll send you a couple stickers. Well, Rick Walker says, I would like to apologize to anyone I offended with my last comment. Gary was my favorite Lynyrd Skynyrd band member, and when Chris said he wasn't fond of him, I was kind of like taken up for Gary. I should have thought it out more thoroughly and with a clear head. So he apologizes for his comment, and Rick, send me an email to edwg59@gmail.com. And this is just for Rick. This is not for anybody else, okay? And I'll send you a couple stickers like I promised, man. And we appreciate you apologizing to the Second Helping Band, because he went back and he looked and he said, you know what? They are good. And he admitted it. I think he changed his comment from the original comment, went back and put the part in there about how he was taken up for Gary. I think he had to think of why he was being a jackass, but it don't matter because he still apologized. And then he's got a question.
Chris said that Gary wasn't really very enthusiastic about having a tribute band. At the 87 thing, he said, well, you're going to have a tribute band for the tribute band. And he didn't really, and I can see Gary doing that and him not being real sociable or enthusiastic about having a tribute band play with, I can see that from Gary. So I can understand why he wasn't very cordial with Chris. Yeah.
Well, I've heard some people that have been around Gary, and he's, he had a little bit of an attitude with some people, but when I met him, he was very nice to me. But in his later years, I think Gary, he got a little more humbled by things. So when he was young and, when those guys, after that plane crash, anybody that was on that plane, you can't judge them, man. That if you haven't been in a plane crash, you can't go around going, hey, that guy's an asshole or whatever. I mean, so many people will say, why is Gene the way he is? Why is Craig the way he is? Well, they were in a plane crash. They don't realize a lot of things the way they are, but they're mostly a matter of fact. They just say what they think because they look at life like there ain't no time for bullshit, It's just time to be honest. So,
well, Gary worked a lot off of his first impression of somebody. If his first impression was, whatever, he was, more cordial with you. If he didn't get a good first impression off of somebody, he was a little standoffish,
And Ronnie was the same way, wasn't he, Craig? Kind of the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, they were all of them were pretty, their first impression of you meant a lot,
Yeah, like, were you there for something or were you just there to be, yourself? Were you there to be yourself or were you there to, to be some kind of a Klingon or some kind of one of these people that go around and groupies and things. They didn't like that stuff, from what I hear.
A lot of people are like that. A lot of people work off their first impression of somebody,
Yeah.
A lot of people do.
Usually I've found that if I get an argument with somebody, I'll end up becoming good friends with that person. I don't know why that is, but every time I've met somebody and I look at them, I go, that guy's an asshole. And then I'll get in an argument with them, and then I'll be like, you know what? We get along pretty good, So maybe I'm an asshole, But yeah, so Rick Walker, we appreciate it, man. There's a lot of people that come on and they say stuff on the comments and they don't mean it. Who knows? Maybe the guy was, hitting a spliff, and maybe he was doing like the opening of the podcast. He had him a little shot of whiskey with a spliff, and he was stoned and feeling good, and he just wanted to say what he wanted to say. But he had a question for you. He said, Craig, I heard that when Ed quit, Alan and Billy also quit that night, but Ronnie called them back and did not call Ed. Now, I think we talked about that before, didn't we, Craig? That Alan and Billy.
I think we did talk about that before. Yeah.
Didn't they leave and go home? They didn't quit. They just went home.
I remember something about it. Yeah, they went home and came right back. Yeah, we didn't all go home. We were on tour, and they went home and came back. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they just, there was. It's almost
when Ed
like
quit, we had to take a few days off.
Yeah, because you had to figure out what the hell.
We were on tour and had some shows to do, but Gary and Alan had to figure out what they could play without Ed.
Did you guys cancel any shows because of that?
I can't remember. I can't remember. It doesn't seem like we did. It seemed like we just went somewhere and rehearsed for a minute or two.
That had to be really hard. And I know it pissed Gary off, because I heard an interview and he said, he just got up and left in the middle of the night, and and we had to, Alan and I had to do his parts, and it was hard. And so I could see why they'd be pissed. But then again, Ed's, I've had enough, and he just quit, which good thing he did, because he was able to not be on that plane. So, yeah. So anyway, Craig, you got anything you want to talk about? Anybody send you any gifts or anything? And
no, I haven't got any gifts lately here.
Yeah.
Yes, we were talking about Lori Shoemaker. I guess she's going to go to that show that Canfield, Ohio here.
Yeah.
About an hour from me. I'm going to try to find the proper channels to go through to get into the show.
Yeah, if anybody's a first-time listener, well, Craig, he is the original roadie for Lynyrd Skynyrd, and he was with the band all the way through the plane crash. He came back and supported, of course, he's worked with Marshall Tucker and Journey and Foreigner, but he was mainly a Skynyrd guy. And so when was it, last September when they came?
Yeah, I remember last.
And you went to the back gate, and you've done that before. You go to the back gate and you go, hey, man.
I went about they didn't play till that night, about 7 o'clock or something. I went about 1:30 or something. I just went down to see some of the crew guys, really just when they were setting up, and went to the back gate and showed them my pass and told them who I was. I was back there signing autographs and stuff, and they went in and said, hey, Craig Reed, your original roadie and the guy from the plane crash is here, and one needs a pass to get in, and they said we don't want him in here.
Yeah, so
something like that.
I'll tell you what I'll do.
That effect.
I'll play that clip here right now for you, so you can see what they said, and then you'll be able to be caught up on what happened.
So here I'm at the security gate at the Lynyrd Skynyrd show in at Clay's Park in Lawrence, Ohio, pretty close to my house. And yeah, I was talking to all these security guys in there, and yeah, they went in and asked the Skynyrd people. I told the Skynyrd people who I was, and showed them my pass from my stage pass from plane crash. I'll get it off of my neck here. Yeah, I showed them my stage pass from around my neck here, and this camera I'm using, I'm not very good. Anyway, there it is. There's my pass I showed them to get in, and yeah, the guys were pretty cool, the security guys out there, but they sent a message backstage that I was here, and apparently the tour manager said that yeah, they couldn't let me in. Yeah, they told them a plane crash survivor is here and stuff, but yeah, Craig Reed was here, a plane crash survivor, but they couldn't let me in. So I guess they got a hold of management, and management told them not to let me in. So we'll see if we can get somebody to talk to us here. Hi there.
You can't do that.
Can't do that?
Stop.
Okay. All right. So anyways, that's the story. Tried to get into the Skynyrd show, and they wouldn't let me in. So yeah, there you go. So I'm going to call their management office and tell them I'd like to go early in the day and talk to the crew guys.
Yeah, because Johnny made a reply. He says,
he said, Craig, you ought to know better than that. You can't just show up and, security and everything. Hell, I was signing autographs for security. It was your damn management that wouldn't let me in.
Yeah, so he said, if you get a hold of the management ahead of time, then you can get in. Well, Craig's going to test that out and see if that is going to work. So when is that going to happen, Craig? The
September the 1st, Monday, September the 1st in Canfield. That's about an hour from me. It's over near the Pennsylvania, West Virginia line, somewhere over there.
So don't nobody send Craig an email and say, hey, can I go with you? Because Craig can't even get in his own self, more or less take anybody with him, Jeez.
Oh, I just want to go talk to the crew and bullshit with the crew. I still know a couple of the crew guys.
Well, you said it's already sold out, didn't you?
That's what it said. It said there's no tickets available for this one, or there's a lot of the county fairs or whatever. I guess they're all sold out, but I don't want a ticket anyway. I don't really care to see the band, to tell you the truth. I just want to go talk to the guys.
It's not like you. It's not like you haven't. It's not like you haven't heard them before.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just want to.
They're good, but
Yeah. And you said Cardellone is he's going on tour with Ted Nugent.
That's what I heard in 26. I guess he's going to go on the tour with the damn Yankees, I guess.
Yeah.
I think he's done it. I think they did a show once before or two, and he took off and went. Yeah, he's supposed to go off. I guess they're supposed to do a tour.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, those damn Yankees, man, they kind of came and did a little bit, and then they quit, and people didn't get enough damn Yankees. Well, what a lineup, those guys, man. That's a great band. So
I see where people are trying to figure out who's going to be the drummer for the 26th tour when Michael's not there. They go, oh, they should bring in Artimus. Yeah, that's going to happen. And then other people say Derek Hess, and be interested to see if they replace him. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's unless they're going to take a break or something. I don't know, but and they're going to have a drummer. They don't, so maybe that people need to start turning in their resume.
I see they replaced the bass player. We got a new bass
Yeah, a
player.
young guy, right? Kind of a young guy. But yeah, and so that's the reason that last when Craig put that headline on there as far as the Barry Lee and Derek Hess and Six Gun, there's a video at the end of that. So you guys go back and look at that.
Yeah, they do. Don't misunderstand me.
Yeah.
They did good.
They did.
And Sid singing. Yeah, that was a good video. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. You know,
it was very good. And
Barry singing too. Yeah, that's where Dale and Barry traded off singing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so if
well.
you guys missed it, go back to 320. Is it 320 or 220? What are we up to?
320, yeah. 320.
Yeah.
That's 100 away from 420.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
At one a week, we're a couple years away from it.
Yeah. Give or take 100.
Thank God.
Yeah, well, I hope we make it to 400.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to make it this far. I didn't think we'd make it past 20.
But doing one a week, that don't bother me a bit. I kind of enjoy it. Yeah, it's even. When we were doing 3 a week, that was laborious, man.
That was too much, yeah.
Yeah, Craig was getting cranky. So we got about 20 comments and questions here that we can go over like we always do. We like to bring our subscribers in to the podcast and get some good comments and questions from them and be interactive that way. And so we'll go ahead.
I thought we was done.
Well, yeah, we got a little way to go yet, though, Craig. Calhoun says, I forget who he is on his email, says he was on his way to Baton Rouge to see the concert in 77, and he found out on the way the plane crashed. He had his tickets, him and somebody else was going, and he says they thought it was a joke until they realized that it was real. And he says he still has the tickets. Now, I seem like I remember you saying that maybe this is you, that you were willing to donate those. But if you don't want to, that's fine. I don't know if that was you or not. But those are some cool things, something cool to have. If you'd like to get rid of one of those. Cool.
Yeah.
I would trade you something out of my stash for one of those. Send me an email to edwg59@gmail.com. And if you want to trade on one of those tickets, I'll match you with something pretty cool. And then you can have a ticket, and then you can have something else cool. You can keep one ticket, but that's up to you. But that is pretty cool. Not too many people I know still have the ticket to Baton Rouge where they never made it. So
no, for sure.
That is very cool. And Roger Banning, looking forward to the next podcast with Mike Estes. His stories are fascinating and hilarious. Well, Mike just had surgery. We might be able to get him on. We might be able to get Craig to give him a call and see, because I know he's gonna either had the surgery or gonna have it, but I think in a couple weeks he's doing a show somewhere, but he canceled his Europe tour, right, Craig? Because
that's
the back surgery.
Yeah, it's what he posted, that he wasn't gonna be able to do Europe, but his doctors ordered. But he's playing a show here in a couple of weeks. But I sent him he didn't have any more of his Mike Estes, Lynyrd Skynyrd guitar picks. And I sold one last week on eBay, and he goes, I'd like to have a few of those, and so I sent him about half of what I had left. And
did you get a good?
He wanted them stickers that Clayton sends it too, so I sent him some of those.
Yeah. Did you get a pretty good bid on the pick that you?
No,
No.
no, that's what I wrote him. I said, your pick ain't doing too good this time. It usually goes for about $30. It only went for $14 this time.
Well, that's better than somebody going, "Who the hell's he?" You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah.
because I don't think people realize that old Estes, man,
It's a
he
cool
played
pick.
with a lot of
It's got
people.
the the Tasmanian Rebel on one side, and then it said Mike Estes on the other side. It's turquoise. Nice pick. It's cool.
Yeah,
Even
and of
came with a
course,
document of authenticity.
and of course, Mike Estes is in the band Skinny Molly because he was in Lynyrd Skynyrd and Molly Hatchet. So, what a great name. And we've, you know, we've talked a lot about Mike Estes, and he knew all those guys. The only person he didn't know was Ronnie. Everybody else, he was friends with all those original guys, except for Steve Gaines, which I don't
Yeah,
think
even Ed. He was really good friends with Ed too.
yeah,
He became good friends with Ed. Yeah.
and Billy used to stay at his house with him, and him and Paul Abraham were neighbors. So they after they babysitted Billy for a little while, they said, "Hey man, you need to take Billy for a while. He's starting to hog the TV remote, and we can't watch anything we want to watch." So they would trade old Billy. I don't know what. Why was Billy staying there? He didn't have his own house or what?
I think him and his wife were having some issues because of Billy's problem with alcohol.
Yeah, and same thing with Leon too. He used to come stay with you
Yeah.
because
Well, after his last divorce, that's when he came and stayed with me.
yeah. So yeah, Craig. He had at that house where Craig's at right now. Man, all the Skynyrd boys been there. And when I was there, Craig goes, "Man, you can stay here." I had a hotel, and he goes, "You can stay here. I'll go scrape off Leon's bed for you." So I could have slept there in Leon's bed. But yeah, so that's yeah, Mike Estes, he's a funny guy. He is a likable guy. Everybody likes old Estes. And let me see, Jerome Murphy, Griff, did you have anything to do with the Apollo 13 filming? Rip Jim Lovell. Yeah, Jim Lovell just died, the guy who was on Apollo 13 when they were pretending to go to the moon. Right, correct? But the answer to that question, I worked on that movie for God, I swear it was 3 weeks. We rolled that crawler back and forth and back and forth, and I was right there beside Tom Hanks and Opie off of the Andy Griffith Show. He was the director, and yeah, I sat right in they put sideburns on
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard, yeah, I was in the makeup trailer, and they were putting sideburns and cutting my hair and making me look like the part in case I got into the video. I had to look like I was from the 60s, and old Tom Hanks came in and walked right past me and sat down on the other side of the petition beside me, and I could hear him over there talking, and they were making him up. And then whenever I went out to the crawler when we were rolling it, and they had all the cameras set up, and it was foggy for like 2 weeks. The whole entire time they were there, it was foggy. And if you look at Apollo 13 and the crawler part where they're rolling it out to the pad, there's a guy who comes up and shakes Tom Hanks' hand and says, "We're going to be at the pad at like 1800 or something like that," and I actually, me and another guy auditioned for that part, and an engineer, I was too tall. I was too tall. I was taller than Tom Hanks, so they didn't like me. So they gave it to that engineer, and that engineer that did that part actually gets a check to this day. It's a small check because he had a speaking part in the movie. So, yeah, I got to do a lot of cool stuff out there at Kennedy Space Center. Worked on like 5 major motion pictures, and I was one of them. And I got to meet a lot of actors and just normal people, just like everybody else. Some of them are jackasses, and some of them, are pretty nice. But yeah, so to answer your question there, Jerome, yeah, I did, man. I worked on that movie, and I remember there's all these crawler rocks because the crawler runs on these river rock. It's a coefficient of when the steering, it's friction, so the coefficient of friction has to be as less as it can be when those big tread belts turn. And there's all these rocks, so I picked up a rock and I handed it to Tom Hanks and I said, "Here." I handed him a Sharpie and he signed it. And the Sharpie hit a little bump in the rock and messed it up. And he threw that rock and he goes, I go, "Why'd you do that?" And he goes, "Because I messed it up." And I go, "Well, hell, you should have gave it to me, man. It was, it was still good." So he said, "Well, I'll sign two for you." And believe it or not, there was like a security guard car. It was old Ford Falcon or something, and it was a police car, and it kept breaking down, and we had to push it every time the crawler moved. And old Tom Hanks got right behind that car and pushed it with us, So now he's woke now, and he's not. He's not a Trump guy, but back then he sure was a nice guy, man. I tell you what, he was one of the nicest guys I ever met. So there you go, Jerome. Appreciate you asking, and that's what happened there. Cheesehead says Craig has all those great tapes of Skynyrd, and because he was there, is not in any hurry to release them. I'll agree with that.
That's not why.
Yeah, he's got a whole drawer full of movies of Lynyrd Skynyrd from before the plane crash, after the plane crash. He's got movies in that drawer, and
well, the ones in the drawer got sound and everything, but most of those are board taped. I would take my camera and just put it out at the soundboard and put it on the stage, and it was just the whole show. Then after the show, I'd go out to the soundboard and get the camera and film people leaving. And the ones in Japan are pretty cool.
Yeah, man, you got to break one of those loose, Craig, because you can't be talking about how you got that stuff and then not share it,
Well, the ones I put on my green screen, like behind me now, there won't be no sound on them.
Well, we don't care. We can share at the end of the podcast with the sound even.
I'll try to put something together.
Well, yeah, you also going to mail those prizes out too.
I'm trying to get everything together. I got a lot going on, man. My yard guy Larry, he's not doing so good these days, and he's going to the hospital tomorrow. He told me.
Yeah, what's wrong with him?
I don't know. He was mowing someplace and sniffed a bunch of dust and he's having a hard time breathing.
Yeah, I bet that ain't with the dust he sniffed. I bet he sniffed some dust.
No.
It might have been something he might not feel good because of something he drank. Because doesn't he have that brandy?
Larry don't drink or.
He's got that brandy collection, or is that Sammy?
No, that's Sammy.
Oh, okay.
Larry don't drink or do any of those drugs.
Well, maybe he needs a start. Maybe that's the problem.
No, he was working outside mowing some field or something and sniffed a bunch of weird dust or something, some kind of lung infection.
Some mushroom.
He does all my yard work, most of my yard work.
Yeah, I've talked to Larry before. He's a good dude, man. He is a good dude. He's always cutting trees down and mowing Craig's pasture and all that stuff.
He does all my landscaping, all my rocks, all the rocks that are stacked around here that I take credit for stacking. He's the one that did.
Yeah, so you got to say a prayer for Larry, Craig's handler. He needs some prayers, man. Look up, man.
I've known Larry since I was in 6th grade, something like that.
And Laura Johnson, Kimmy, where are you? Yeah, Kimmy, there's people asking about you. You can't go on there and then every podcast put 50, 60 comments on there and then just disappear, man. So, Jerome Murphy, what year did the Honkettes get hired and what was the process? I was surprised they did not record Sweet Home. Instead, it was some black ladies that sang backup for those parts. That was when they were in Muscle Shoals. I guess when they had the Honkettes sing, when they recorded in Muscle Shoals and they had those backup ladies, I guess Ronnie had to go get some singers then, right, Craig?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because they had those.
Those were some famous singers. I don't want to say who I think it was, Mary Clayton or something.
Yeah. She's still around, I think.
But
we couldn't have her.
They had to that whatever they did on the album, they had to be able to do live. So they had to get the girl singers.
Yeah, we couldn't try to get her on here because Craig's talked too much trash about black women. A lot of times, like I'll be out somewhere and there'll be a heavy girl, and I'll be out on the road with Griff Martin and I'll be handing out these little wooden coins that I got. I don't see one here, or I'd show you. And they'll go. And oh, you're on a podcast? And I say, yeah, I do a podcast with a plane crash survivor, roadie, Craig Reed from Lynyrd Skynyrd. Oh, I want to see it. And I'm like, no, you don't. Because they're big girls, they're a big girl. So, I'll hand them the coin and then I'll wonder, okay, I guess they're going to watch it and then they're going to be pissed off because Craig, he's a fat shamer. You're so fat, I bet you think this post is about you. But,
I don't imagine my audience is much more different than normal, regular people. 80% of people out there are fat, so I imagine 80% of people watching are fat, so...
Yeah, that came from our buddy, Dave the Disciple. He sent us those. I don't know where mine is, but mine's somewhere.
I got refrigerator magnets all over my refrigerator. Sometimes I think I'm gonna go out. When I go out, I'm gonna stick some of those magnets on the back of my car and just have them on the back of my car while I'm driving around. Come on, you fat ass.
There's
all kind of different ones, man.
I got a granddaughter who's a little chunky, and she was over here yesterday, and she saw all those on the refrigerator, all those magnets. And then I go, and she goes, Grandpa, what is that? And I go, well, don't worry about it. I say, you're all right. You'll grow out of it.
Close that door. You're not hungry. You're just stoned.
Yeah, I got that on.
I don't know how many of them I got out there. They're funny. No fat chicks and they say all kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm looking at one I got over on my safe. It says your body is a temple, not a rundown warehouse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Jerome Murphy, that is why. That is when it happened, the Honkettes. The process for it, I talked to Leslie about that, and she was the first Honkette. Then she brought in Cassie, I think, and I think JoJo was last. Isn't that the way it went, Craig?
I'm not sure. JoJo said she never even auditioned. She never sang them.
Which Leslie said that's not true. She said that's not true, that she did, did have to. Yeah, she did have to do some singing. And
Ronnie, she said Ronnie just liked the way she looked.
Yeah, he may have, said something like that, but I'm sure when it came down, if she would have been hitting some sour notes, he'd have gave her the boot. But yeah, I believe if it weren't for Leslie, there wouldn't have been Cassie. I think she hooked Cassie up. Um, so, but I hope I didn't get that wrong, Leslie, if you're listening. Then Scooter Weed loves to see Wicker and Leon snap at each other in your lap. It is
I don't
quite
know where Wicker
entertaining.
is.
Yeah,
Leon's
it
always
is.
been here.
It is quite entertaining because they only do it for like a second.
Wicker, come here, Wicker.
Does Wicker stay in there all the time and Leon hides, or what? What is it hard to
I don't
find
know.
Leon?
No, Leon's when I start doing these podcasts, Leon he jumps up here in this chair. I don't normally sit in this chair, only when I do the podcast. And
Oh, yeah.
if you're sitting in this chair, Leon has to be in your lap.
Well, I know whenever I come over to visit you, they both have to be in your lap. Anybody who visits, they're jumping trying to get in your lap, And they're a lot smaller than what you think they are too. When you go to Craig's, they're just little tiny dogs, man. They're not very big at all. And Craig has to watch out because the damn old hawk will fly down out there and pick one of them up and fly away with it. Old
Oh yeah, I
fox
have
or
to
a
watch
hawk
him.
or a coyote or something. And that would be terrible, especially for Leon because he's already been kidnapped. He don't want to get.
Oh yeah, a bird could carry Leon away.
Yeah, Leon's a little tiny dude, man. He's got PTSD too from that being kidnapped shit,
Wicker,
Either that or from living with Craig.
Wicker, where are you?
But they stay high all the time, just from the residual smoke that Craig keeps going. He keeps a constant doob burning over there. I'm sure they're getting a buzz. So yeah, I agree with you there, Scooter Weed on Leon. I like to watch. I do think it's funny. So maybe Craig will get him to get in his lap here before.
I can't believe Wicker's not coming.
He probably
Wicker, get in here now.
And then Jason wants to know, did Leon play on Contraband album? Was he on the Contraband album?
Seems like he was.
Yeah, I believe he was. That was a pretty popular album for the tribute band, was that Contraband. Then there's a new listener I haven't heard of, Thunder Drums. Craig, don't you think Gary should have helped the survivors out? They helped him, and he got where he ended up because of them. Well, I agree, man. I think they should at least like stay in contact with the people that were on that plane, and just see, hey, how you guys doing? Let them in the show free, or send them a Christmas card every year or something. I mean, you don't have to hand them money. We'll take care of that. But we're not able to hand them a lot. They could hand them a lot more than us. But yeah, I agree. Maybe they should stay in touch. They should have at least like a party or something every now and then, and it's just weird. I think a lot of it, Johnny wants to forget about that plane crash, I'm sure. But everybody would like to forget about that plane crash that was on it. So that's a good question.
Hey, I'm going to pause this
Drums.
and see where the hell Leon or Wicker
Okay.
is. He should have come in here. All right, here he is. Here we go.
Yeah, Craig had to go get Wicker. Yeah, that's Johnny and Gary. They're good now. It's all good now. It's just a little burst, of energy there. But oh, it looked like Leon had a hold of Wicker's ear, man. He bit down on his ear. One of them had a hold of the other one's ear. I saw it. But there you go. There you go. Let me see. Medieval Times wants to know, Craig, and we've talked about this many times. You have to go back Medieval Times and watch some of the old podcasts because we have talked about this 500 times. Why is it that Chuck Flowers got fired?
He wanted a triple raise. We were on a salary, and he got the notion he wanted 3 times more money every week than we were getting. And Ronnie offered him like $15 of tripling his salary, and Chuck said another $15 and you got a deal. And Ronnie said, "Get the hell out of here." Then Ronnie said, "Anybody else?" And Raymond said, "Well, me and Chuck said we would stick together." So, "Well, you get out of here too then." And then he looked at me, and Kevin was the only ones left. He goes, "Anybody else?" And we were just sitting there
going, God dang. And you said, "No, I'm good." And then they paid.
Then we both got raises.
Yeah. And then they had regrets over it,
Oh yeah.
He probably could have came back if he'd have said, "Hey, Ronnie,
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and at least the tribute band would have brought him back, probably. Maybe.
Actually, that was Rossington Collins. We were at a Rossington Collins.
Yeah, they probably would have Rossington Collins would have brought him back, probably.
I don't know.
Gary wasn't mad at him, probably.
I don't know.
So, yeah, we talked about that many times. And, of course, Chuck Flowers ended up shooting himself with a rifle that Ronnie gave him.
30, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess he got back at Ronnie somehow, maybe. No. That happened while Ronnie was still alive?
No, it was after the crash.
Oh, it was?
Collins, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Then Medieval Times. Why can't you tell why Alan and Gary were fighting? You can't bring it up and not say why, whenever that Rossington Collins, and you said, I ain't going to tell you. I'll tell you, I'll give you a clue. Alan said something bad about Dale, and we ain't going to say what it is, but he said something bad, and that pissed Gary off, and then they went out and had a fist fight. So that's what happened, but we ain't going to say what it was that he said. So that's as close as you're going to get there, Medieval Times. But that's close enough. You can use your imagination. Right, Craig?
Yep.
And Patricia Lynn, she says she loves Second Helping. That she says they're a great band. She checked them out on YouTube. And thanks for posting the Barry Lee Harwood and Derek Hess and Six Gun with Seda video at the end. See, Patricia watched all the way to the end, and she saw the video at the end. That's because Patricia Lynn is one of our premier subscribers. We got plenty of premier subscribers. Just about everybody I mentioned on here has been with us for a while, man. We appreciate you guys watching.
They don't all send you soap, though.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, if you want to be a premier, you got to send a gift. Yeah.
She didn't send me soap. She sends me mugs and stuff.
Then here's an interesting comment, which I don't know.
Oh, she sent the dogs treats too. Yeah.
Yeah, and TP always sends stuff, and there's a lot of people sending stuff. Gotta Domar, whatever that handle is, says, love Derek Hess and the snare hand crashes. Only talented drummers employ that technique. Most do the ride hand crossover. He did excellent work on the RCB LPs. I don't know what you're talking about there. That's a drummer thing.
There's a drummer
That's
turtle.
drummer talk.
Terminology. Yeah. Take that paradiddle and shove it.
Yeah, so Derek, man, he is a heck of a drummer. And I tell you what, man, whenever he was drumming and we were practicing, and he was like, of course, Zach Lane, he's and Smick Gentry. Those guys are, and of course, the whole band, they were playing there, and Derek was loving when they were doing all those Rossington Collins songs. Man, he was at a reunion of some kind, because you could tell he was enjoying drumming. And if you go look at that video that I put up at the end of the last podcast, take a look at Derek, man. He's smiling away. He's enjoying that. And he's a great dude. One thing about Derek is he's a barefoot skier. He can actually ski barefoot. He's a big water skier. A lot of people do that in Florida. And we had a conversation about that. I told him to come on down to Winter Haven, because we got the chain of lakes, and I'll pull him behind my boat, and he can barefoot. But I'm feeling you with the drummer thing there, Gotta Domar. John Rafferty, Kimmy's silence is uncanny. Yeah, we got to figure out what's going on with Kimmy. I think it's that surgery. Hopefully she's doing okay. Maybe she's just resting up. But
I remember you saying she was having some surgery.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe she, had to have some wisdom teeth pulled out or something, and she can't. Well, who knows? I don't know. Maybe she's just in the hospital still. Who knows? Wingnut asks, why did you bait click saying Barry Lee and Derek Hess were on there and not have them on? Well, you didn't watch the whole video there, Wingnut. That's why you're a Wingnut.
Caught us bait clicking, huh?
Yeah. And that's why you are a Wingnut.
Obama is in jail. Obama has been arrested.
Yeah.
That's all you see on FakeBook, man. On YouTube.
It's just bait click.
They're arrested. What? Oh my God.
Then Melody Maker Mark says, Griff, this is the third time you have read my comments and said I'm a girl. How do you get a female out of Melody Maker Mark? Well, I don't know. I think the melody thing is like maybe. I didn't mean to misgender you there.
Melody Maker Mark. Oh, okay. Melody.
Yeah.
Mark's got a melody maker.
So I'm not going to say I won't do it again.
I like those melody makers. I had a couple of those. I gave them to Chad. He lost both of them.
Well,
a couple of nice melody makers.
I apologize if I misgendered you there, Melody Maker Mark. I'm not going to promise that I won't do it again, but I'll certainly try it. And you're not the only one I've done it to. So sorry about that. You ever seen that thing on Facebook, that post where that guy, it's a big dude, and he's got a woman's hairdo, and he's wearing a dress, and he's in the 7-Eleven, and the guy goes, sir, and he goes, you don't misgender me, and then the lady goes, well, you are, you need to mind your own business, and the guy goes, well, sir, you want to take it outside, I'll show you us, sir.
One of my best friends growing up, well, not growing up, when I was a teenager in my young 20s and stuff, his name was Paul. Great big guy, great big biker guy, and everybody called him Shirley. Yeah, it was funny. His name was Paul. Everybody called him Shirley. I don't know why.
That's weird.
Everybody called him Shirley. Everybody, hey Shirley, what's going on?
Yeah, it's that. I'm glad that woke thing is going the other way, man, because it was starting to get on my nerves. And I heard Howard Stern got
Fired.
lost. Yeah, well, they didn't pick his contract up or something, but yeah, he's a big woke son of a bitch. I used to like to listen to the Howard Stern, and the 12 days of, that he had those crackhead Bob, and he had what's that guy with the black guy with a little head, Beetlejuice, and they did the 12 days of Christmas, and they all they all sang a part. It was like one of the funniest things I've ever heard. But
I used to listen to Howard Stern all the time back in
Artimus has been on there twice.
Back in the early 90s, I listened to him.
Yeah, that's when he was cool. Then he turned into a woke ass.
Yeah.
I don't know. They must have got to him or something. Must have had some pictures of him with his little pee-pee out or something. Who knows, man? But yeah, he was ruined. Let me see. Thumper says, I watch every podcast, and who cares what people think about the guests? If they can do any better, let them get people on. I agree with you there, Thumper. Because, yeah, it's hard sometimes getting people on here, and then, and if you don't have anything good to say, well, then we'll read out your comment if you don't have anything good to say. We like it when people talk trash because we'll read the comment, and then everybody jumps your shit. Jeff says, Leon's Garage is in Marysville, Ohio, 30 minutes west of Columbus. So last week when we were talking, I guess he saw some maybe entered there or something, and I mentioned it, and Craig didn't know where it was, and he didn't get a sticker is what it was. I think I told you, though, send me an email, and I'll send you one anyway. I think maybe he did. Maybe he was one of those 20 people. Let me see. I was Jimmy. Jimmy says I was surprised to hear Craig say Lynyrd Skynyrd opened up for Black Sabbath twice. What a contrast. Yeah, that's some heavy metal and country. Well, not country, but southern rock. So that is kind of. But back then, man, it didn't matter. When if you had a good band, it didn't matter who it was. And I mean, you wouldn't put KC and the Sunshine Band up there with Skynyrd, but
I listened to Black Sabbath before I ever got with Skynyrd. I was a big Black Sabbath fan.
Oh God, who was it? I mean, that was like Iron Man was the go-to song everybody played. I mean, me and my buddies,
Black Sabbath a lot.
You could play Iron Man. That was like so easy to play, and then you had that fuzz buster pedal. I don't know if you remember the fuzz buster. It was like,
oh yeah,
yeah. So we would play Iron Man, and yeah. I saw old Ozzy. He went to Houston Johnson Space Center with his son, and they put him in an astronaut suit. And old Ozzy, man, he was cutting a fool. Ozzy was cool as hell, man. And nobody doesn't like Ozzy. Ozzy is funny as hell, man. He was a good dude, man. A really genuine guy. He would crack you up.
I was surprised at all the people that were influenced by Ozzy.
Oh, yeah.
Even Jelly Roll, and the Prince, to Harry and the Princess. I guess. Yeah. They were there, and there was.
And the Beatles that was those guys were his heroes. And I saw a video where he met Paul McCartney, and I think it was on David Letterman or something. And and he just went up and said, Paul, it's good to meet you. You know, you guys were my inspiration, and then see you later. He just walked away. He didn't want to bother him, you know. He didn't want to bother him. So that's all the comments and questions, Craig, and we appreciate everybody's comments and questions. And anybody that just started watching the podcast, if you don't mind, go ahead and subscribe, and then that kind of helps the plane crash survivors, because we give them the monetization that we get from the podcast. So, and we'll be back again next Monday. So happy trails.
Yeah, happy trails to you until we meet again. And see you later, alligator, at the Wild Crocodile. And we're just going to call that a wrap for this here podcast 321. Is that what?
Yeah, 21. Yeah.
And yeah, we're out of here. Cut.